Yeah, your sewing machine hates you. You're not actually imagining things. Okay, maybe that's a little bit extreme, but here are 10 things that your sewing machine wishes you would stop doing. Or maybe you haven't done it yet, and I'm going to give you the warning before you even do it. Probably half of these things I have done to my beautiful sewing machine, and some things I've learned not to ahead of time. Now, in this video, I am going to show you all of these horrible things you're not supposed to do, but I am not going to do that to my beautiful sewing machine that I love so much. I am going to do it to this lovely sewing machine, mainly because I'm not a fan. Don't buy this sewing machine. Oh, and at the very end of this video, as I was going through this list, I was reminded of something that had happened to me many years ago that kind of became a bonus number 11 / story time. So stick around to the end to find out what that was, because I'm sure that sewing machine still hates me. I will never ever get that relationship back. So let's jump on in to our list of 10 things your sewing machine wishes you would stop doing. Number 1, and this is a bit of a two-parter, do not blow into your sewing machine. The moisture from your breath can get into your sewing machine, and if you do this often enough, you can start causing rust and other issues within your sewing machine, such as also blowing that lint further into your machine in areas that lint never would have gone had you not blown into your sewing machine. So the two-parter in this is also not to use those air cans. I literally did this last week, so I'm really hoping that I have not pushed a lot of lint further into my sewing machine. I was having issues with my sewing machine. It wasn't threading properly. I redid the bobbin. I redid the thread. I thought I redid everything. I cleaned out all of the lint, everything, and I couldn't get it to work until I finally did the thing I probably should have done at the very beginning, which is reading my manual. And then I figured it out, but I used this long before I read my manual. Don't use this. It has a ton of power in it, and it will push that lint further into your sewing machine. So big mistake on my part. On that note, this is what you should do. This is my favorite set I have ever purchased. I've actually purchased 2 of these now so that I keep one on my main floor near my family sewing area, and then this one by this sewing machine here. This is my favorite little kit. It's called an Oh So Clean brush and cloth set. I will definitely have it linked in the description down below. I use it all the time, and my favorite brush that it came with is this one here. It's got such long bristles, and so I can get a lot of lint out of my sewing machine without having to blow it out. It just sticks to this brush, so I just love that. It also came with this smaller brush here, and then it came with a microfiber cloth. And then in the kit itself, I've also thrown the little brush that my sewing machine came with, and I don't know if you've noticed tweezers lately, they come in packs of 2. One is a normal tweezer and the other one is like a death tweezer. It's got a super pointy end. So I don't know what that death tweezer is normally used for. Let me know in the comments if you know. But I throw this lovely little death tweezer into this kit, and it helps me reach into my sewing machine and actually pull out some of those clumps that I otherwise can't get at. So I quite like this little death tweezer. Number 2, when you want to change the thread in your sewing machine, and I actually have a horrible habit of doing this, I will pull my thread out from the top. Don't do that. Snip it at the top and then pull the thread out from the bottom near the needle. The reason for this is because you don't want to mess with all of the tension discs in your sewing machine. And by pulling backwards, the sewing machine is not used to the thread having to go that way. You may ruin the internal parts of your sewing machine. I am going to have to stop that habit. Number 3, Do not turn that lovely wheel on the side of your sewing machine backwards. I know a lot of you are going to say right now, I do that. I've done it all the time. It's never given me a problem. Okay. Yes, newer sewing machines, you can turn that wheel just a tiny bit, like a few millimeters back, and you'll be fine. So if you need to adjust your needle a little bit, no big deal. But if you keep twisting that thing backwards, you are actually screwing up the internal workings. And if you think, no, when I hit the back sewing button, it's literally doing that inside the machine. It is not doing that inside the machine. When you're hitting the backwards button on your sewing machine, it's actually just switching the direction of the feed dogs that are on your sewing machine. Your sewing needle is actually still doing the same motion it's always done. The motor is still moving in the same direction it always has. It's only the feed dogs that are switching things up. So the feed dogs start pulling the fabric backwards. That's how you're getting that little back stitch on your sewing machine. It's not actually the wheel and the mechanics within that are pulling things backwards. So when you start turning your wheel backwards, the thread is being forced to go back in a way, once again, that it's not used to going. So try your best not to turn this side wheel back too far. I'm pretty sure older machines don't even let you do that. Or maybe, I'm trying to think, I've gone through a few older sewing machines. I can't remember because I know I pull the wheel out, but that might be just to access the bobbin threader. Never mind. That was a little side tangent that we're just going to ignore. Number 4 is that your sewing machine is begging you to use the right needle and a sharp needle. So often I will push my needles to their limit, and then all of a sudden I'm dealing with annoyances within my sewing. Those annoyances are coming from a dull needle or from the wrong needle. I once decided to make a whole bunch of scrunchies, and my one scrunchie was using more of a silk fabric, and that silk kept getting chewed up in my machine, and I kept getting bird's nests underneath the fabric. You know how all of your thread just knots up underneath your fabric? And as soon as I switched to the right needle, all of these problems just disappeared. So you are causing stress on your poor sewing machine by using dull needles or the wrong needle. So let that be a lesson to you and to me, because I do that all the time. This really is just a list of things that I have to remind myself not to do anymore. Number 5, kind of going along with the needles actually, is that you really should never push or pull your fabric. Your poor sewing machine, you purchased it. It wants to do a job for you. Let it do the work. It's getting annoyed with you. It's like, I can do this. Leave me alone. I got this. As you're pulling and pushing that fabric, you're actually putting a lot of pressure on the needle itself, so you can bend that needle. A bent needle going into the machine is going to cause problems. Just don't do it. Your sewing machine will thank you. And actually, you'll thank your sewing machine too. You won't get so annoyed. So that is the first 5 ways that you can improve your relationship with your sewing machine. And if you are enjoying this video, I'm just going to ask you to please give it the old thumbs up, as that will let YouTube know that this was a good video, and then YouTube will share this video with others. And of course, if you love beginner sewing tutorials, click that subscribe button so you don't lose me here on YouTube. Now let's move on to the next 5. Number 6, I'm guessing none of you do, but just in case there's that one person, I'm going to say it anyways. Do not ignore all of those clunky, horrible sounds your sewing machine might be making. Those are warning signs that something is wrong. Stop. Figure out what is wrong. Do not just keep sewing. Do not be like, oh, I've got 2 more seams left. I bet you this sewing machine can make it through, and keep going, because you're either going to keep wrecking your sewing machine, or worse, something else might happen. Like, what if you had that bent needle? All of a sudden your needle snaps. I've had a needle snap on me before, and no, I don't wear glasses when I'm sewing. It was quite dangerous. Please be careful out there. So if you hear your sewing machine making any weird noises that it is not normally making, stop, Drop and roll. That's the 90s coming out in me. Stop, read your manual, figure things out. Do not keep going. You may even need to take it to get it professionally taken care of. I know that sucks, which is kind of why we're tempted to just keep on going, but don't. Do not do that. Your sewing machine will welcome your kindness. Now, this one is going to be controversial, and that is because it does not qualify for all sewing machines. So I'm just going to put it out there. Do not oil your sewing machine if it's new. If it's a new one, okay? I know there are old ones, and I have my mother-in-law's old sewing machine. I have my grandmother's old sewing machine. Yes, they want oil, but new sewing machines are made, I hate to say it, a little better in this regard. Let me know in the comments down below how you disagree. The internal workings of a new sewing machine actually have what are known as sealed ball bearings. So the lint's not going to get in there and soak up the oil. The oil's going to stay in that area. And of course, read your sewing machine's manual. There may be an amount of time or amount of hours sewing. And then at that point, you may need to take your sewing machine into a professional and they will oil it for you. But new sewing machines do not want you oiling them. They want professional care. Now, number 8 is actually one that I've been ignoring and I keep on doing. And as I was doing my research for this video, I came across the information and I was like, all right, I hear you. They finally gave me a good reason to stop. So number 8 is do not put the wrong bobbin in your sewing machine. And I do this all the time. I, even right behind me here, have a lovely collection of metal bobbins and of plastic bobbins, and I think it's just the cheapness in me. I just haven't gone out to buy more plastic bobbins. And I'm like, I've got lots of colors. I rarely use colored thread. I'm a black, white, and cream, maybe gray every now and again, thread kind of a person for the most part. So I rarely need these colors. So I just started to use the metal bobbins and add the colors onto there. I didn't think it was a big deal. My sewing machine was handling it just fine. But when I did the research, I did come across a very good point, which is, and I actually want to show this to you. So we've got this lovely piece inside our modern sewing machine. Some of you have front loads and they'll look different. Actually, the front loads, I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong, but do the front loads just use metal bobbins? Because often those front load holders are made of metal, right? Anyways, my machine and many top loading machines, they will come with a piece like this. And I'm blanking on what this piece is called right now, but it is made out of plastic and your bobbin goes inside it. So what do you think is going to happen if I start using a metal bobbin on plastic and it's constantly spinning in there? It's going to wear the plastic out. And when it wears the plastic out, all of a sudden you have sewing machine and bobbin issues. I don't know why, but it never crossed my mind that that could happen. So do not use the wrong bobbin in your sewing machine. It actually does matter. Number 9 is to never change your sewing machine needle, thread with the sewing machine on. You're putting your finger near a needle that could move. Maybe your foot slips. All of a sudden you step on your what's it called? The pedal. So, you know, for safety purposes, just do things with the sewing machine off. I know it's tempting to have it on because now you've got your light, but do it with the sewing machine off. And to go along with that, actually, maybe I'll save that story for the very end. Okay, let's just move right on to number 10, and then I will do a little story time to inform you of actually the one that I think is the most important, and I don't know how it didn't end up on my list of 1 through 10. So number 10 is to never ignore the tension settings because that can mess up the internal workings of your sewing machine. I know that feels kind of anticlimactic that I saved that one for number 10, but here comes story time. So let's make this the actual number 10. Never plug your sewing machine into the wall. Plug it into a surge protector first. I have a lovely sewing machine. It is a Baby Lock sewing machine. If you know sewing machines, you'll know Baby Locks are quite high end, and I got it as a wedding gift. I used it for over 10 years and had no issues at all. And then one day, my sewing machine was on. I was walking over the carpet. I walked up to my sewing machine and I just touched it and I shocked it, and it screwed up all of the computerized components. It stopped working. It would actually, that's not true. It would only sew backwards. Literally, it would only sew backwards. It was very frustrating. So I thought, okay, well, I'll get this fixed, right? Because it had been 10 years and I did not have any issues the whole 10 years. They didn't make that computerized part anymore for my sewing machine, which is very, very frustrating. So I have this wonderful sewing machine with almost all the components that work, but there's no computerized part to replace it anymore, so I had to buy a new sewing machine. That sucked, especially because all I needed to do to save my sewing machine was to have it plugged into a surge protector. I just never thought about it. It never crossed my mind because when I'm using my sewing machine, at least, I'm not thinking about it as a computer. Now, since then, I've purchased this sewing machine, and this sewing machine acts a little bit more like it has computer parts. It has a little bit more of a LED screen and all of that. So maybe now I would look at my sewing machine and think, oh yeah, it has computer parts. But my old one, it really didn't have a lot of those kinds of visual details to suggest that it had computerized parts. So it really just never crossed my mind. So there is your story time. Learn from me to never, ever, ever plug a computerized sewing machine straight into the wall. Always use a surge protector. That is my list of 10 things your sewing machine will thank you for if you stop doing them, or it will continue to hate you if you continue to do these things. Your choice. I guess it's up to you and the relationship that you want to have with your sewing machine. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Happy sewing, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.